Hello everyone, I'm Trisha, it's me Jenny, and it's time for an actually naked truth for once, because it's potentially the last ever naked truth that I will do, which is weird, because I've been doing it for so long, and I've said this before, it's kind of part of my YouTube vocabulary. It's part of what I do on YouTube is naked truth responses, and the vast majority of the videos on my channel are naked truth responses. So coming up with ideas for videos, it's going to be a real challenge for me now, because I really like the idea of kind of a loose topic which I can just talk about. So that's going to be weird going into that. But I'm truly, genuinely, really excited about the change of to the naked truth. It's one of the things that's been kind of bouncing around for a while, is the fact that the naked truth is such a deeply empowering concept. The idea that you're okay as you are, and I am fully naked for once because in honour of that, but usually I choose to do this in my jammies, not because I have a problem with nudity, but because it's something that I don't think necessarily translates well for me personally. If a colleague were to see it, I can see it not being a positive response. So that's part of the reason why I say pyjamas, as well as usually it's about the imbalance of power. But you know what? It's the last naked truth that I might do, so we're doing this properly. But like, it's such an empowering, wonderful concept that Trisha's come up with, and the idea that, you know, you are you, and you are valid despite what you may look like, and no matter how you're curtailed by society, you know. I get a lot of assumptions about myself from random people, people that I know and care about, people that I don't know and care about, don't know and don't care about, the assumption of, oh, you must be this because of this, or you must be that because of that, and the idea of being, no, I'm just me. I'm just me as I am, and that's fine. I'm fine with my super dry forehead right now, and my absolutely frizztastic hair. I don't know how bad it is. I was going to film this straight out the shower, but I didn't realise my camera had no battery. So I then fell asleep. So my hair is now pretty well dry, and I have not run a brush through it, so it is. This is the post-shower frizz going on right now. Also of note, my camera does not have a lens view, so I have no idea what is and what is not in frame right now. So let's hope I am doing good angles, because I have no idea. And I'm holding this up quite high with one arm, so we'll see how long it takes before my arm starts to really hurt. But yes, so it's going to be weird. It's going to be a weird transition, and kind of it's kind of a nice sending off into the world. I've got to come up with my own video ideas, but I think it's so smart of Trisha to transition in this way. One of the constant things that people have been saying is, you know, it's been going on so long, she's covered such an array of topics, that going back and revisiting previous subjects has been a suggestion that's come up quite a few times in the suggestion box, and so she's doing this in a really organic, really nice way, that it's kind of a throwback naked truth. And a lot of the subjects she's covered before, the subject matter has changed since she did those videos. I definitely remember, particularly in late 2019 and 2020, a lot of the diversity questions that were coming up in the public sphere were things that people were like, oh, have you done naked truth on this? Have you done naked truth on this? And she has done naked truths on Black Lives Matter and racism and intolerance and all of these things that I've saw years and years ago. But, you know, discussion of the subject 5 years ago versus discussion of the subject now is a whole other thing. I think, you know, a lot of the original guest tubers she had on, the guest naked vloggers that came on, their opinions have probably changed, her opinions have probably changed. When she first started, she was not married, she was not a mother, she was not a homeowner, she was not a business owner. All of these things that have fundamentally changed in the last decade, and that changes your opinions, it changes your thought processes. So I think it's really fascinating to revisit those subjects in a very organic way. And in a way that actually is financially viable. It's heartbreaking that, you know, nudity is taboo, because frankly we've all got 'em. we've all got everything. That's how life works. And, you know, depending on how you view it, it can be sexualized or it can be not sexualized, because bodies are bodies. Like, everyone's got toes, but some people find toes particularly interesting, for example. So I get why moving to a non-visual media for that is a really smart way of doing that, where you continue doing what you're doing and promoting equality and promoting positive body image and positive self-awareness, without having that brand deal issue. Because when your public persona is your life, is your way of doing finances, having that is, it's a hindrance. No matter how psychologically helpful it is or community building it is, it's not financially building. And when you are a, you know, money earner, a breadwinner, someone who's passionate about your career, actively taking time away from those things, and therefore taking time away in the long term from, you know, holidays with your family or keeping the house well, is too much pressure. And I think it's a genius way of doing it, having like the actual full audio clips of the original Naked Truth, and then discussing the subject from a 2020 plus 2021 perspective. So I think she's a flipping genius, along with the working out that because Twitch owns Amazon, Amazon owns Twitch, that she can multi-stream between those two platforms. Working out that contract, absolutely flipping genius. So I am in awe of Trisha, as I always am. Like, I've said it many times, I'm a Hufflepuff who always wanted to be a Ravenclaw, and Trisha is most certainly a Ravenclaw. She is a hard-working, smart lady, and I live in constant admiration of her, and other people who grind and achieve. And not only achieve on a financial business side, but, you know, you having the house, having the husband, having the kid, you know, it is the white picket fence kind of existence. And I know that is obviously, you know, an idealised version of it, and particularly 2020 has been absolutely horrifying for everyone. And none of the stuff that I've commented on are easy things to come by. They are things that you work towards, but it's a credit to her character that she has achieved all of that, and is still progressing and developing and finding new dreams, which I think is phenomenal. When I think back from when I first started doing Naked Truths to now, I do not have that much life change. I do not have that much success. I have maybe 5 things of note that I could say I have done since that time, and none of those are particularly of note in of themselves, particularly from the standpoint of I am in the same room that I was in all those years ago. So that kind of goes into, I'm also covering, so I am late on these Naked Truths. I am in fact this makes 3 weeks, or 3 Naked Truths, so 6 weeks behind on the Naked Truths, because Trisha did one on Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving is always a weird one for me, because I always feel slightly awkward, because it's not a holiday I celebrate, because I am not based in the Canadian Americas, and so it feels a bit awkward for me to kind of put input into it, but I do appreciate the sentiment, and I am so grateful for my family. As sad as it may be, I am grateful that I have no relatives that are high risk, and that's a really sad thing to say out loud, but having witnessed that struggle for people this year, the lack of contact, the lack of room to grieve, and the constant worry, I am so grateful to not have that as part of my existence. My family, I'm grateful that those of them who are not retired are employed. I'm grateful that they're healthy. My twin sister has already got a vaccine because she is a healthcare worker. I'm so grateful to the essential workers out here, like all of the essential workers, but particularly the healthcare workers this year, and they do not get enough credit. That is just a fundamental fact. There is not enough people who are willing to do that, and there is not enough government policies or budget provided to accommodate for what they provide. I am so grateful to live in a country with a national health service. I am so grateful for that. The idea that I could go into hospital have what I need and come out without debt, without having to spend a penny. That is something that I'm fundamentally thankful for. I'm thankful for my sister as well, because not only is she my sister, and not only have I not seen her for a long time, she is also a doctor. And I'm grateful to her housemate, who is a doctor, and I'm grateful to all of her friends who are doctors and are still working and still doing everything they can. And I'm just so grateful to everyone who has rocked 2020. I'm grateful to all of the parents who were put up with 2020 and all of the teachers who have switched to distance learning, and even more the teachers that have been forced back into the classroom without significant provision or a feeling of safety or a feeling of feeling like they're cared for or getting the financial compensation they need, or feeling lesser or belittled because they have to take time off for their own health or the health of their family, or like that side of thing. I am so grateful to those workers, and it makes me so disappointed in the authorities that haven't provided the respect and compensation that those people require. I'm so grateful to my work. And again, this is an interesting one going into my next subject. I'm so grateful for my work, for doing everything they have done, for being a stable institution where they have enforced mask wearing, they have enforced hand sanitizing, they've enforced every single procedure you can possibly do, from signage to space control, management control, ventilation, screens, like you name it, and my work has done it. They've done staff bubbling, they've done shift bubbling, they have done space management and brought in the things that we need to work, and I'm so grateful for them, for making me feel safe at work, for making me feel safe coming home to my parents, knowing that the likelihood of me bringing anything with me is so low, and being strict on those things, and I'm so grateful for them for that. So yeah, there's a lot of things I'm really so thankful for this year. I'm thankful for all of my internet communities. Like, honestly, the Dragon Riders got me through so much of the first part of this year when I was like, oh, we'll be wrapped up by March, you know, or like April. I think April was when I went on into furlough, and I think we were due to come back at the end of April, and I didn't come back until September. I was like, you know, this will be fine, and like their support and their positive community spirit has been extraordinary. My D&D guys, honestly, if I didn't have D&D, I would have gone absolutely genuinely nutters, says the girl who sat naked in her bedroom at early o'clock in the morning. The day before I've got to go back to work, I'm due back at work. I have to get up for work in like 5 hours. But I've had a nap, so who cares about sleep patterns? I'm not grateful for 2020 for making my sleep pattern even worse than normal, but I am grateful for it in allowing me to have time to really build some friendships with a lot of my international friends, because I've been able to stay up very late and get up very late. Like, it's a weird thing that COVID and furlough has provided me with that gift, so that I've really been able to connect with a lot of my international friends in a way that I couldn't previously because of work. And that's one of the things I kind of dread about going back to work again, is having to switch that back. But again, like, the Dragon Riders, my D&D guys, I would have gone full on nutters without D&D and Mage. Those guys have been my rock to sanity, and they're the sweetest peeps. Project Chronicle, all the guys associated with Project Chronicle, all of the people who are part of, like, I have a friend who's started doing a lot of streaming this year, like I have, and all of her colleagues and friends have started doing it, and they are all lovely people. I have another friend who is part of a D&D group. In fact, I'm going to name drop. Let's name drop Falcon and all of her friends who stream, who are just lovely, and I just enjoy hanging out in such, like, variety of company. Like, there's not a person that I've interacted with through one of my friends that I've not enjoyed. The Gilded Troll through my friend Tim, the Geek Bombers, which I already knew about, but I didn't join the Discord until recently. my Bristol friends who I've barely been in touch with, but I still like, I pop on and occasionally wave and I'm like, oh, I missed you guys. Like one of my best friends, Ellen, just occasionally, very occasionally, but every once in a while, going for a walk with her puppy is one of the best things that I could possibly do, and I'm so grateful for her. So yeah, all of these lovely, lovely things that happen. I'm so grateful to live in an age of the internet where we can have these conversations, we can have video chats, we can do movie hangouts, we can do online D&D, and even though D&D at table is a whole other experience, it is a more tactile, energetic, focused experience. Thank God for D&D online and the fact that we have that capacity. It's bonkers nutters, and I'm so, so grateful for it. So going into the second video that I was going to respond to, which was the Maud Garrett Trish collab video, Naked Truth guest thing, which was about targets for 2021 and looking forward. I've kind of summed up 2020 because 2020, nothing really bad happened to me. Touch wood. As such, like I can't, I'm incredibly lucky, and I'm gonna leave it at that because I know how privileged I am. Nothing bad happened to me, but nothing happened to me. And so looking forward to 2021, I really want to make some big targets. And going back to what I was saying before my camera decided to randomly turn off. Yeah. Classic. This video is going to take so long to upload. Holy macaroni. But yes, one of the things I really want to do for 2021 is set big targets and small targets and things to give me structure. Because again, one of the problems with being a Hufflepuff that always wanted to be a Ravenclaw is that I am not good at self-structure, I'm not good at self-maintenance, and I'm not good at organising my time well. So 2020 is just a blip. I did nothing to report, and I really want to make some personal progress this year. And usually I don't do New Year's resolutions because I tend not to make, well, when I do make them, I tend not to succeed in the targets. So it's kind of very defeatist. But this year, like, the big thing I want to do this year, and I want to definitely really push for it, and even if I don't succeed, I want to have made significant progress on it, is I've been saving up to buy myself a house for a long time, and I have some savings. My Help to Buy ISA has nearly matured, and even though again, things that I'm so grateful to have a space that is mine at home, and to have a home with a garden and people that I can go into a room and spend time with, or I can not. And my sister currently is back from Norway, and she is self-quarantining in her own room, but we can basically just give her one of the toilets, so we don't have to use the same toilet as she's using until she's finished her quarantine, and the garden's large enough that she can stand in the garden and not have contact with us. And I'm so grateful for that as of capacity. Like, my house is not a manor, it is not huge, but it is a lovely family house to be part of, and I have the immense privilege of still being in the same house that I was brought home to from the hospital. But I think it is time, I'm nearly 30, to spread my wings and get my Help to Buy, and get my first home. And I'm considering options regarding whether or not I can subsidise the rent with something like a lodger or something, or whether or not I just provide a place for friends who need a break to just come and sleep for a couple of days or something. I don't know, but I want that. I want to have my own house, my own little dollhouse that I can organise, that I can you know, put my heart and soul in and do things like decorate how I like. And I won't be able to afford much in Oxfordshire because Oxfordshire is expensive. But I really want to get that. That is something that I want to do in 2021. And it's going to be really hard because I struggle to do new things. I struggle to commit to big things. There will be a lot of anxiety and a lot of procrastination, but I really want to do it in 2021, and take significant steps towards that. And then I need to come up with other targets. I need to come up with other specific, non-random, non-massive targets. Like, there's been years where I've been like, I'm going to read you know, 3 book series and I get fatigued because I get 12 or 13 books into a series and then I stop. Or, you know, same with like TV series where I'm like, I'm gonna watch the entire of the Star Trek backlog, and I get fatigue and then I stop. And I don't want to lose the energy for the positive things in my life by putting my heart and soul into things that I don't want to finish, or I won't have the energy to finish. And I don't want to be defeatist, and I don't want to set myself targets that are impossible, but I also don't want to set myself targets too low and then not give them a real go. I really want 2021 to be a year when I do things that scare me. And I don't know what to do within that field, because obviously 2021 is still going to be pretty similar to 2020 in terms of lockdown, COVID controls, like all of this stuff. It's going to be a long time before normality happens, and it's probably not going to happen properly until 2022 at the very earliest. If the vaccine gets properly distributed, maybe by October we will start to turn the next page, but it's going to be however long that we have spent in lockdown and in full COVID conditions. It's going to take at least half that time again to return to normal things. Things like handshaking and hugs. I think if we're saying lockdown conditions for 2 years, it's going to take a full year after that before everyone goes back to normal human interactions, as well as the financial, economic, social fallout from all the COVID stuff. So I'm rather limited in what I can do with my bigger targets for 2021, but I do want to do them. I want to actually challenge myself, and there's things that I could do in terms of like streaming goals or Twitch goals, but like a lot of those ones are so financially based and so community based that some of them are really lovely, but some of them I don't want to lose why I like streaming to do that. So I kind of want to make them a little bit more IRL goals. For 2020, my original goal was to either quit my job and get myself a new job or get myself a house. And I've decided that I'm not going to turn my nose up at a stable, consistent job that has done so much to support workers during 2020. It is not my dream job, but I don't have a dream job. So doing it for another year, getting that stable income so I can really look into getting a mortgage, is I think a really positive thing. And I think I need to push myself at work again this year, because it's been so bizarre and so scattered. I've not pushed myself at work, and I think I enjoy myself more when I'm challenged at work, and so I think I need to come up with some work goals, I need to come up with some personal goals, and I really do want to get a house in 2021. So yeah. Maybe some social goals. Who knows? I might try doing relationships again. I haven't done a relationship of any kind, romantic kind, in over 5 years. So if I do go into that again, I need to... that will be something that I'm scared to do, and I will need to push myself to do, and it will be an experiment to see whether or not relationships are even a thing that I want to have, at least romantic ones, or whether or not it is just I haven't met the right person, or whether or not I've been not ready for myself to commit to someone else. One of the interesting things that I was talking to my friend about a couple of days ago is the truth about you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. And I think 2021 has really shown the flaws that I need to work... 2020 has really shown the flaws that I need to work on, and maybe I'm at the point where I can start thinking about that again, and if it turns out that I'm just not made for relationships, then that's fine too. That's really fine. I've been contentedly single for so long that if it means being single for the rest of my life, I'm happy with that. But maybe I'll be brave enough to to try for something again sometime. But there we go. This video is ridiculously long, I'm so sorry, but it is the last Naked Truth video response that I will be doing, and I've been doing this for so long I feel like it needed a proper send-off, a proper long send-off, and be a big old FU to 2020 and hope that 2021 is better. And I really, really hope that the angle is good on this camera, because again, I can't see what I'm looking at. It's probably like right on my nose or something, and I know my lips are like so dry right now. But there we go. So if anyone has any suggestions for fun, interesting challenges for 2021, I'd be really interested to see what you guys have, whether or not it's fitness or personal, artistic or creative. I'd like to have things that I can mark my year by and look back at the end of 2021 and be like, oh, I did that and that scared me, but I did it. And I did that and that scared me, but I did it. And I did that and it was horrible, but at the end of it I had this. I want to have that at the end of 2021 rather than at the end of 2020 where I feel like I've had no failures but I haven't tried for any successes. And that's not as satisfying as it would normally be for me. Normally consistency is okay. I live a very small life and that's fine. But I think 2021 has really highlighted things I need to work on. So I don't know, maybe I'll start doing movie reviews again as a small step, because that always used to scare me, but I used to push through. So sad that that's a thing that's still in my psychology. But there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry this video is so long. I'm sorry that the camera's probably very shaky. My arm is hurting. But I'm so excited to all of the things that Trisha is doing with the community. I'm so excited to still be part of this community. I'm so excited to be part of all the communities I am involved in, as well as my IRL friends and my internet friends and my internet acquaintances and my family. So yeah, that's it. Bring on 2021 and Naked Truth 3.0. Bye for now.